Today, we talk about good-looking trains. Hello. Today, I'm going to be giving you 5 small tips to make your trains look better. And yes, I do mean train, not just the locomotive. Most of these tips are nice and small, simple things, and it hopefully won't leave you complaining that you need to throw lots more money to get good results. I will say now that a good train is nothing without a good layout to run on, and I realise how hypocritical that sounds and looks with this depleted carcass of an excuse of a layout that I'm currently using. But I'm slowly getting there, and this is a project. So, with that out of the way, let's move on to the first point. Withering. Quite a basic and somewhat predictable point to start with, but it really does make a difference. Just by looking at photos of real trains, from no matter which era, there will always be at least some level of dirtiness about the train, with exceptions only to the ex-works portraits. You also get the added little bonus from weathering, especially with powders, that it takes off the plasticky sheen that all models come with, and furthermore adding to the realism. Point 2. The couplings. This is a very small detail that can add massive benefits, as this can bring the distances down between the coaches, and it doesn't have to be challenging or expensive. All these Pullmans here are fitted with the Keen Systems Buckeye couplers. They cost £2.30 for 5 coaches worth, and installation is just as simple as removing the existing NEM coupling and slotting these right in their place. Operationally, they require a little bit more work to couple, as they don't just push together anymore. But once together, they provide a very secure coupling that also looks reasonably realistic too. However, these couplings don't work on all NEM coaches. I tried them with the free Mark I coaches from a few years ago that everyone freaked out about, and they are a touch too short for those. And that's basically the extent of my NEM fitted coaches, but I'm sure someone else could find a more in-depth list of suitable coaches. Point 3. Rolling right on from point 2 is this: closing the gap between coaches. Whenever you see a train of corridor coaches go past, you don't really ever see any light through between the ends of the coaches. And whilst the closer couplings eliminate half of the problem, you still have some light coming through. That's where these very simple devices come in handy. They don't look all that great on close inspection or on their own, but when used as part of a rake, they can really improve the overall look. These cost me £3.90 for 12, and these were for seller on eBay, and they come in a variety of shapes and sizes for multiple different coaches. Point 4. Matching stock. This and the next point could potentially be expensive, but it can also be super simple. What I mean by matching your stock is to get the same level of detail stock in a train. I know this isn't always practical, and in some cases it will take time to rectify, but by avoiding using new Pullmans in a rake of old ones, or using old Collet coaches in a rake of new ones, weirdly, the overall look, if using a complete rake of older coaches, will look better than a mismatched mix of old and new. So just by separating them into 2 trains, you can make a big improvement. Lastly, point 5. The length and formation of a train. This point requires a bit more reading up and research on, but can provide you with great results. As this will mean the train will not only look good, but it'll also be right. And if you're like me, just knowing that it's right can make it look just that little bit better in your own eyes. The length of a train will definitely improve things, as for instance, express loco like a King or a Castle on a rake of 3 coaches just won't look particularly great or right. Whereas if they were put on a rake of say 10 or 11, then they'll shine. Now, I know this isn't affordable or practical for a lot of us, myself included, but it doesn't mean it has to stop there, as you can simply just use this rule for branch trains or freight trains. The formation is where you can get that little extra bonus satisfaction, but we'll have to do a little bit more research to achieve. Now, don't be put off by the research part. This doesn't necessarily mean spending hours on end in a library, as with today's modern means, a simple Google can often provide you with the answers, as there are countless sites out there to help. Even if you can't find the answers straight away, Just remember there are lots and lots of forums out there which are full of people who may know the answer to your questions or have perhaps even asked it before. Just don't be afraid to look around. And there we have it. 5 fairly simple ways to improve your trains. 1. Weather your stock. 2. Couple your stock closer. 3. Get rid of the gaps. 4. Match your stock. And 5. More accurately arrange your stock. As we now come to the end of this video, that leaves just the one matter to be resolved. That is the count. And that today stands at... So let's turn that into pounds, and seeing as today was all about bettering models, this will now be donated to the Pendon Museum, who I think it's fair to say have set the standards pretty high for better models. And that brings us to a close. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it informative, and if you have any tips or tricks of your own that you use, post them below and they may make it into a part 2. Again, thank you for watching and consider clicking that subscribe button.